Good evening. I'd like to call the Town of Cedar Lake Plan Commission October 4, 2023 work session to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I'll turn the sheet around. I always forget that. Good job. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan.
Here.
Mr. Foreman is absent. Mr. Hunley.
Here. I think Mr. Foreman's online.
Yeah, I'm present.
Okay. Mr. Sharp.
Here.
Mr. Parker.
Here.
Mr. Kapora.
Present.
Mr. Oliphant.
Here.
Mr. Austin.
Present.
Ms. Abernathy. Ms. Hyduk is present.
Okay, before we start, Mr. Carnahan would like to make a statement.
Yes, I talked with our other town council member, Nick Recupero, and he informed me that he talked to the town council president of Winfield, and they don't allow duplexes, paravillas, or townhouses. All they allow is single-family homes. I am going to pursue changing that to we have the same as Winfield. Mr. Austin, if you would explain the procedure, Nick told me he talked to you on how we could do this.
Yeah, Nick and I talk frequently on this. This is simply a matter of enforcing your ordinance and showing the developer representatives what you have in your ordinance and sticking to it. That's it. Really, that's it.
But it'll have to come through the plan commission first?
For
Making that, it would be a zone change, right? Zoning ordinance change?
Well, Bob, we're talking two different things. You're talking about a policy across the town in the ordinances or
Yes.
by the law, and that will require a review of your zoning ordinance and subdivision ordinance, and or any amendments that will adopt what regulations you and the town council ultimately deem appropriate after public hearings here.
Okay.
So that's how that works in the legislative sense. In the application sense, it's a matter of enforcement by our staff with the developers who come in, and we identify what the laws are, the regulations are, and stick to them.
And how does Winfield handle this? Do they have an ordinance that handles it?
Well, they have a recently adopted comprehensive plan and zoning ordinances that are current.
So we'd have to change that if we wanted to be the same as theirs?
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
But
If you could give me a copy of that, I'd appreciate it. Could you?
can I get you the website? You can go.
Okay.
I mean, it's
All right.
it's a lot.
Okay.
I would do that.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Number one, Centennial PUD amendment and reinstatement of preliminary plat. Owner, petitioner, 133 LMB LLC, 8900 Wicker Avenue, St. John, Indiana. Vicinity of 10702 West 141st Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting to amend the PUD ordinance and to reestablish the preliminary plat for Centennial.
Good evening, Richard Anderson, 9211 Broadway, Maryville, Indiana. I represent 133 LBM LLC. We're talking about 16.2 acres, and the 16.2 acres is along the railroad tracks, and Beacon Point Lane comes in from the east. Oh, thank you. So, basically, it's Centennial PUD is an existing PUD. It was done in 2006. This is one of the sections of it that has not been developed yet. And as part of that development, we are looking at revising the PUD because times have changed since 2006. So some of the highlights of those changes would be to reduce the total density of Centennial community from the original 20 units per acre to about 7.86. So there'd be a reduction in the number of units. We'd utilize an updated design townhouse home plan, which looks like this. I think it was, if you got copies of what was attached to the ordinance, that would show. Basically, the plan increases the front and rear yards from 10 feet to 20 feet. The exterior of the townhomes will contain five color variations. And the units, instead of what's there in some of the other sections, which are rear-loaded, these will be front-loaded. By front-loaded, that provides a parking space for sure in front of the unit from the garage, as opposed to sometimes in the back where there wasn't quite enough room for a car. And then secondly, it provides more privacy in the back for the unit owner with regard to it. The new units are bigger than the old ones. They're from 1461 to 1543. And basically, the layout of the plan is shown on the subdivision. If you got copies of that also, I hope. And the one key here is that as part of this, and in the engineer's review, if you read that, that's included in there, there's a second entrance into this area going through from Freedom Way through Lot 19. So Lot 19 and Freedom Way will be dedicated as a public street, so that will then tie this whole area and have two entrances in and out of it, which I think makes more sense than what was there originally. So basically, that would be the changes. It's an existing PUD, and we're just trying to update it and move forward. Answer any questions that you have.
Okay. Don, you got any questions?
I think Mr. Anderson had a pretty good summary of the development. We issued a letter on the 28th of September, which is kind of our first crack at the engineering. Land plan layout wise, it's pretty significantly different from the former. We have a detention basin up in the northwest corner, and then a singular detention basin kind of on the southwest corner. The solid drains, it was originally to drain through Centennial. This now will drain through Centennial Villas and Beacon West directly to Sleepy Hollow. So slightly different. Those are major changes. We've gotten rid of a bunch of the rear alleyways because of the rear loading, which is a positive in my opinion. And then, yeah, the units have dropped drastically in this area from the original PUD. So we're getting through the engineering. We're waiting on a resubmittal, and we'll take it from there.
And the client is going through your letter also.
Yeah.
So, yes.
But there's nothing in the letter that's, damning by any means. It's just kind of cleaning some stuff up. I mean, since the land plan's changed so much, it's pretty much all new engineering compared to the last submittal in '06.
There's nothing that would slow us up in 2 weeks on this, or?
Well, I'd like to see another submittal, and then we'll talk about that. It's a lengthy letter, but there's nothing that's going to say any changes to the land plan.
Sure.
I'd like to get through it a little bit.
Mr.
Okay.
President,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson has sent me a copy of the amended PUD ordinance that is going to be needed, that identifies the changes here that justify the reinstatement of the primary plat and the resumption of the PUD. I'm working on that. He sent it to me in Word version yesterday, I think, and we're talking. It's not ready, I'll
Okay.
say that, but we've got the foundation in place.
Okay.
Dave, I have a question. I know on some of these, and it may already be in the PUD agreement, I don't know, but on some of these that were close to the industrial park and the railroad tracks and things of that nature, there was some sort of required informing of the buyers that there's industrial and business activity in the area, and they have to know that before they purchase these properties. You remember something like that?
I do. There was a disclaimer type notification that you were talking about it and the commission was talking about, and that certainly can be included. This is going to be a recordable instrument. It's set up for that, so it takes and puts into the record for the subject parcel and development any conditions that occur with regard to the property.
Yeah, that just, in my view, eliminates any future complaining about any kind of activity that pre-exists these.
Well, it reduces it, I don't know that it takes it away.
Well, I guess the nuisance phone calls and things of that nature, if they're, you know, it's disclosed to them that that type of activity occurs near these premises, and they know it when they bought it, and we shouldn't have to be bothered with those kind of complaints.
Well, we'll be looking at the existing approved PUD and zoning to transition from a 2006 instrument to a 2023 instrument, and we'll be working on that. We'll look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, Greg, I think that was something we've included as Centennial Villas. I don't know if that was part of this original 06 PUD, I would doubt it, but we can
No.
put it into the revision.
No, it
I don't have
wasn't.
any objection to adding something, because I mean, it's fact.
Yep.
So, I mean, if it makes it easier for the people and they have, you know, as best you can to advise them, yes,
Yeah.
no problem.
We
can add
that.
Mr. Chairman?
The only thing that we'll do is add on Schedule B, the title work, land other deduction. It'll be a reference to the instrument.
I think Ashley's online with the question.
Go ahead, Ashley.
As part of the original 2006 PUD contract agreement, they did have to put that solid fence, the opaque fence, along the railroad tracks between the townhouses and the railroad. I don't know if that's something that we can continue with this amendment too, or just enforce the original PUD since of amending that document.
From a safety standpoint, that's probably a good idea too.
I think it's advisable just to maintain continuity, because they do have that white fence all along the entire western boundary along the railroad.
I'd have no problem with that. We can add that as one of the conditions in the ordinance, actually. That way we solidify it.
Okay.
Dave, this PUD has already been approved, correct?
Yes, sir.
So they're just resubmitting it and amending it, correct?
They're extending, it was specifically called an amendment and reinstatement. But it's.
So we can't change the whole concept.
Well, you can actually, and that's what the ordinance that Mr. Anderson presented to me began to do. He identified the areas in the agreement, the PUD agreement, that needed amendment, and the changes that will be made. Everything not changed will be ratified and reaffirmed.
What are these townhouses?
Yes.
And I looked on the page and it looks like there's 9 in a row there,
They're in,
connected almost,
yes.
and,
I mean, this is the original plan, just better.
well, that's why I asked Dave that question. I'm not happy with those.
I understand that, but I mean, the original is worse. And so we're trying to upgrade this and make it better.
And how is it better?
Because of the fact you've now front-loaded them, you've reduced the density extensively from what it was.
And what was it before to now?
It was 20 units per acre as opposed to 7.86. And I think that's over the whole entire project, correct? Or is that just this section? That's what they are.
I don't think it was 20 units for the entire thing.
Okay, so it must have been 20 units in this.
I think it's just this section.
Just a section.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you have about a third of what you had before, a little more, 40%.
Okay, the lots were bigger too, weren't they? No.
I think,
They're longer.
well, yeah. But we can add to the ordinance both the fence and also something as far as notification based on whatever was done at the other one, the languages. You have that language.
I have those notes.
Okay.
On the rest of it, the horses kind of left the barn. Is what it is.
Any other comments or questions?
No, sir.
It doesn't sound like this will be ready in 2 weeks, so, huh?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
No, I don't think so. The legal documents are being modernized. We have the terms and conditions to include the engineer is not done.
We've already published, actually, we submitted the publication based, Ashley gave it to me and we submitted.
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson, I did say that was for if everything went well tonight.
Right. But I think we can get the engineering done in the 2 weeks, and the ordinance is basically done. I gave it to David last week, David looked at it, he redid it. I've already gotten the new one, the new one is here. All I have to do is add 2 things to it, a white fence and the extension regarding notification of the people.
Depends on,
I'm not done with it. This study session was important for ferreting out the terms and conditions that needed to be inserted or not. Obviously I did receive an ordinance and have reviewed it, but it's not ready in my view. And the other part of this is that gives us 2 weeks. Well, starting tomorrow, it's 13 days. The agenda has to be posted on Friday next week. It really gives us 6 days. So,
I agree with that too, and I don't, Don will be ready either, so we got 2 issues here.
well, I think we need to see the engineering comments to determine whether any of those are substantive to be included in this ordinance amendment.
Correct, I agree.
And I don't know that as we're sitting here, and I don't think any of us do exactly.
So do we, have them back next month for another work session, and by that time, it gives us a month, we should possibly have this all reviewed and ready to go?
I think this is done in a month, or 2 weeks. No,
So have them back at the work session, make sure everything's
right?
ready to go, and then we can schedule them for the public hearing following, 2 weeks.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep, you're the boss.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Number 2, Seal Tide Exterior Site Plan. Owner, Seal Tide Exterior, 3239 Love Rock Avenue, Stager, Illinois. Petitioner, Adam McAlpine, PE 398 East 400 North Valpo, Indiana. Vicinity of 13741 Osborne Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting a site plan for a new business in the Lakeview Business Park. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Ed McAlpine, here tonight with Vince Frasnone. Property owner, as you may recall, that came before this commission 2 months ago with regard to this project. We've been working with the town engineer. There were some questions last time about the nature of the roofing business that I was not able to answer, so I asked Vince if he could come and join us, and we could discuss those. But working through the various issues, I did receive a letter from Mr. Oliphant about the project, and still some things I need to finish up, like a photometric plan, landscaping plan, along with some other various items. But happy to answer any questions you have or explain the project if you need that again.
All right, I asked all the questions last time. And with the name Seal Tide, I was under the impression he was a single-ply roofer. And from looking at your website, correct me if I'm wrong, you're a residential roofer?
No, we are strictly commercial.
Strictly commercial, but in a single-ply system?
We do single ply, we do metal, we do slate and tile.
Okay.
We do pretty much all the roofing systems.
Okay. I'm totally wrong. I read your website wrong. So my questions were, one of them was, do you have material brought to the job site or to your yard?
To the job site.
To the job site. So you don't store anything outside at the yard?
Some, not a lot. If we have something left over sometimes. Most of the stuff goes inside because it's insulation, stuff like that. We don't want it to get wet or damaged. So the only thing that goes in our yard is we have equipment. We have telehandlers, booms, loaders, stuff like that. Most of the times they're at the job sites, but every now and then we do bring them back.
And you're located in Action Plumbing, the 18 lots, right?
Correct.
And where are you located? You're not on the 41, you're back in the back somewhere?
We're in the very back, so.
All right, and that's a light industrial industrial park, which, I don't see a problem with them storing stuff back there with it being an industrial, light industrial work site. But if it was out there on 41 where they're hoping to get commercial businesses there.
No, our yard on this project would be behind the building anyway, so a lot of the stuff you wouldn't see it.
Here, Bob, you know, it all depends on what he's storing. I don't know, how much on-deck equipment do you have? I mean, do you have a lot of equipment, or, yeah, let me ask you this, how many employees do you have?
About 40.
40?
Yes.
40? You got a lot of equipment.
Not a lot, most of it's on job sites, but, yeah.
Yeah, but when it's not on deck, you're not doing the job, you gotta bring it back someplace, and that's what I'm getting at. That industrial, light industrial, a roofing yard can get looking pretty messy.
Most of the time, we try to keep the equipment on from job site to job site. Like I said, occasionally it does come back to the yard, yes.
Okay. I was a roofing contractor, so I know what a yard looks like. That's why I asked these questions.
We keep our yard pretty clean.
I thought I did too, but.
Good to hear that from you, John.
My wife will tell you that.
Were you in the Heights back then?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
So I started with Popco Roofing
Okay,
in '87, which was directly across from.
sure. I've heard your name for a long time, but I never realized what all you did.
Yeah.
So, you know, or that you were that big with 40, and that's bigger than I was. That's neither here nor there. That won't stop me. Don, do you have any questions, or?
Yeah, we issued a second letter on the 30th, so last Saturday. We're getting down to some of the fine-tuned products. Like Adam said, the biggest ones are mainly going to be photometrics and landscaping. I don't expect landscaping to be, you know, intensive whatsoever. The difference between the first submittal and the second submittal kind of goes to your point about the storage area. I think it was gravel before, now it's noted as asphalt. It's about 32 by 133. Be located on the east side of their building. You can kind of see it on the layout plan, so sheet 3. So that would be kind of their yard. That gives you an idea about how much storage space they'll have outside.
Will it be fenced in?
That I don't know.
Yeah.
Will it? Okay.
Do you have the 6 foot or 8 foot or what?
6 foot.
I didn't hear that.
The PUD agreement says for every lots 8 through 13 on the eastern border, they are required to install screening of 8 feet in height, any combination of berm, privacy fence, or plantings that are opaque in nature. So anything that's along that eastern boundary does have to be 8 feet in height.
Yeah, we are putting, there's a berm back there that we're putting arborvitaes on to screen it, so.
Do we have any other questions?
I don't.
No,
I have a question.
I think this is exactly what the purpose of that industrial park is. I certainly welcome them to town. Just keep it clean.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's fine by me, so, as long as there's a good understanding of, how to store material in or equipment outside, inside, I don't care what it looks like, but, you know, outside. Okay. No other
I have one
questions?
additional question, Mr. President.
What's that?
I have one additional question.
Okay.
It's for the company owner. When you say you have 40 employees, how many are going to be stationed out of this office?
There'll be about 10.
Okay. I was just verifying that your parking was adequate, because if you were saying all 40, your parking was going to be under. But if you're saying 10, you're good on parking.
Yeah, no, there's, the rest of the employees go straight to the job site.
Okay, thank you.
You guys have a foreman coming in and picking up a truck or whatever. They gonna park trucks outside, or they take it home?
No, they take it home.
They take it home, okay.
Mr. President, there will be delineated parking though, I presume.
Yes,
Yes,
there is.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think it's shown in on here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 10 spots, 1 handicap.
And you don't really have any customers coming to the office?
No.
No. Maybe an architect or something, but no customers?
We usually go to them with the
Okay.
architects and,
Sure.
and the CMs.
Well, I don't have any more questions. Is nobody else? Don, you're set for a couple of weeks? or-
We should be.
Should be. Everybody else set for a couple of weeks? See you in 2 weeks?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, number 3, Cedar Lake Storage requesting alterations to previous approvals.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Tim Porter with Cedar Lake Storage, here with my partner, Chris Porter. Address is 9019 West 133rd Avenue. Our attorney would normally be here, Nathan Viss, but he expresses his apologies for his absence tonight. We have a packet that we'd like to hand out to you for you to look over.
Thank you.
We were planning to have some asphalt done this year, but due to extensive delays, we have experienced working with a builder to build an additional structure on the property. It was unable to be completed within this year's construction time frame. There was an approximate 4-month delay with construction, which was only rectified 7 days ago.
Yeah, just for John, so you take care of that, Chris, or I can get it to me now.
Thank you.
I got you a copy of this, John, so we're gonna put it in your box.
Thank you very much, Bob.
So basically, we're requesting to alter the previous agreement that we had talked about, just parking a few vehicles on some asphalt surface before we get this area asphalted, or parking on the gravel before we get it asphalted.
And when is your plan to get it asphalted?
Next year, when the plants open up, we'll get on the schedule. So basically, we're asking for a temporary stopgap measure, and that we'll have the surface, like I said, asphalted, hopefully by next summer, once we're able to get on the contractor schedule. And now, we do have a letter of credit which backs the town in sufficient financial capacity to ensure that the top coat asphalt is put down.
So, I guess for my clarity, where does your asphalt stop now? You're asphalted into your site to an extent, right?
Correct, yeah, probably about halfway down.
Halfway between the buildings?
Yeah.
We're approximately up to the north end of the east building. Yes.
Okay, so that pretty much lines up with your kind of phase 1 limit, right?
Correct.
So, you guys just don't have the final coat down then, is kind of what you're asking?
We're asking to use the south portion of the lot that is gravel until the asphalt is installed next summer.
Next summer, okay.
Is there a provision for enforcement for that?
I believe there was something in the agreement that they weren't allowed to use the gravel area for parking unless it was paved, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that's kind of what they're asking now. That temporarily until sometime next year when they pave the rear part, that they can be allowed to use it as storage early.
Yeah, and I know construction in aggregate was an issue last year, and it put everything behind, actually early this year too, put everything behind, so, I mean, I understand your plight, but I also want it to be, if we were to do that, I'd want it some sort of a provision for enforcement and make sure that we have that it gets done next year and just doesn't get forgotten.
Yes, we do have, the town has a letter of credit for the remainder of what needs to be done.
Is that good enough?
I'm not certain. I would ask Don for a values assessment. That's always determined by engineering estimate of probable costs.
I would have to look at it. I don't have it off the top of my head. I know there's two separate letter of credits for this property. There's one for the public infrastructure off 133rd, and there's a private one for the kind of ensuring the asphalt gets put in. I think they have until 2024. This is kind of a weird caveat. I guess that'd be a legal thing, David. I don't know. Could you pull on it? Could you make a stipulation to pull on that letter of credit if they don't meet a certain deadline? Because this would be a new deadline.
Well, you could, and you could do it by requiring the applicant to secure a separate letter of credit surety with a date certain that is appropriate as determined by the Plan Commission. So if the existing does not match up to a time period that you or the Plan Commission deem appropriate, having that separate surety gives us a drop-dead deadline. It gives us the funds available promptly for taking care of that surface work and fulfilling the terms and commitments that were imposed for this application approval.
How much area are we talking about?
It's approximately 2/3 of the property, or
2/3?
maybe less than half, or about, I'm sorry. It's about half.
There you go. That's the site as of June this year.
I don't think it's about half. I mean, that little southeast corner right there, that's all concrete, you know, so just that bottom left portion. So I would say a sixth of the property.
Are you already storing equipment, storing stuff out there, it looks like?
There are a few there, yes. We quickly filled up all the existing storage, and due to the pressing needs of existing clients, yes, we allowed a few people to park there.
So you violated our ordinance to serve your clients?
Correct.
Okay.
You're on.
I want it on the record, Bob.
Yeah.
What are you storing there now?
RVs and campers.
Pardon?
RVs and campers.
They don't really come out, they just sit there. I mean, obviously, but the units in the back are pretty much just...
See, there's my fear is that RVs and campers, they only pull them out when we want them during the summer. With a boat, they're gonna store it there for the winter and then pull it out and dump it in the pond. You know, so I mean, then it's definitely the vehicle or boat is gone. My fears are that when it comes time to pave it, that there's going to be a lot of equipment laying there. That's why we did this before. You know, and I understand that, you know, storage is highly sought after in this area, but in the same respect, we need to follow our ordinances, and apparently you have it to the letter.
Correct, understood. Yeah, we don't want to take in any more, you know, we apologize, and yeah, we should not have. There's plenty of space there, if we don't take in any more, to move them over when we do pave. You know, to get it done, you know, and then put it back on asphalt once it's asphalted.
Mr. President,
Yes.
just so the Planning Commission is aware, we do have a current private letter of credit for the paving of the entirety in the amount of $113,181.48. That does not expire until October 20th, 2024.
Okay, so then when we take the letter of credit to pave it, how do we move all the equipment that's sitting there?
With the letter of credit bonds.
Pave over it?
You hire some movers to move the equipment that's in the way.
Hire a towing company.
That was never included in the letter of credit value. That would make stretching your letter of credit value not good.
No, I'm against it, unless we have some other collateral to move. So listening.
I mean, the reason this stipulation was put in there was, I think, a couple-fold. Knowing that there'd be boat storage out there, potentially RV storage, tracking, you know, stuff through a gravel parking lot, potentially tracking that down to 133rd, and just getting a guarantee that it would be paved based on previous developments that haven't followed that. So, we would have to do a hard look at the letter of credit to ensure there's enough money in there to potentially move whatever vehicles are there and have enough left over to pave it.
Yeah,
I think 113 is enough.
We're gonna need a number on that, in my view, and an estimate of what that costs.
I agree with Greg, we need a number on moving.
Do your contracts for storage, do they run year to year or
Monthly.
Usually it's month to month.
month to month?
Correct.
So, okay. So then, if you were to put storage back, or when does the paving season start?
April.
April?
The weather's good.
Could start earlier, depending on
Yeah. Might snow in April.
Could start later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see their issue because, I mean, there was a period of time you weren't getting concrete or asphalt. I mean, it's loosened up some now, but if this was unforeseen, but you probably should have been back here to explain the issue before you started using it.
Yes, understood.
So you're done paving this year? You're not gonna be able to pave anything else anymore?
No, the schedules will build up. I think
Okay,
they typically
okay.
quit in November.
They're all behind, they're trying to wrap
Yeah.
up before the plant's closed.
Yeah.
So there's no guarantee that in April that they'd be out to do your place right away?
No, we're looking to have it done next summer prior to the letter of credit being exercised.
And when's that, October?
October.
Yeah, you could be right, it might be October, I thought it was September, but,
Even the deadline for phase 2 in the plans is September 15th.
The date was October 20th of next year.
Well, one was just a plan date, to try to get it, that's the letter of credit date.
Okay.
Probably just got posted a month late.
yeah, again, we apologize, we're trying our best, it's, our first commercial property, it's been tough, but, yeah, we apologize, and hopefully you can work with us.
How many vehicles or boats are you looking to store? Loaded up or?
I guess that's a good question, more than what you have there now, or just what you have there now?
Currently or after asphalt?
Well, after it's asphalted, it's not gonna be an issue.
Right. No difference.
Currently, just whatever's there now.
Now, what's that?
You know
What
how-
is that?
You know how many units you got there now?
15 to 20, I believe. That's a older picture right there. But like I said, yeah, we don't wanna take on any more, you know, so that we have a transfer spot to move them, you know, so we can get the spot asphalted.
So say you have 20 vehicles and/or boats in there now? On the gravel section?
Correct, yeah.
Right. And you're not gonna take any more on that section?
We won't know. Yeah, I don't think it's wise of us, I don't think it's obviously not wise of what we did, you know, so I don't think we should take on any more.
Well, it's hard to come up with a letter of credit number if there's gonna be additions to what's there right now. You could.
Correct, right. Yeah, so we'll just.
A maximum of what is on
And
site.
if we said no, where would you move those 20 units?
I mean, like, my partner here said, you know, we're on a month-to-month to just say, hey, I'm sorry, you know, you know, we have to get this asphalted and, you know, they have to go. There's quite a few residents in town, I believe, that have been renting from us, so.
So what you're here is you're actually here after the fact, because you've already done it. So you're looking for permission to do what you already did.
Correct.
All right, so then I think what we need is the letter of credit for moving, okay? A number on that so we can discuss it. I think that as long as we state that you cannot put any more than the 20 units, vehicles, whatever you want to call it, back there, that's a possibility, a big possibility. So I think that what we need to do, because you don't need this decision in 2 weeks because you've already doing it. Okay? So we need you back here in, next month for the work session. We need, you need to be in contact with Don so that he can come up with a number for that and decide what the letter of credit is going to be for. And then based on that, at the next work session, we can discuss it a little bit more, but I think that's a feasible request based on your actions.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Okay, come up with the exact number you have now and relay that to staff, and then we'll come up with a number at the letter of credit.
And that will be the maximum number going forward. If you go over that, there'll probably be some sort of consequence for that.
For sure.
Well, we won't know it unless we go out there and count regularly. And that's not gonna happen practically.
Welcome to come over anytime, you know, check it out if you need.
Would you rather have that number based on the number of spaces that are available?
Well, that makes sense, because you've got an outside number then.
Maybe that's the answer.
What was that? Based on the number of spaces available.
Based on the number of spaces in the area that they're using, have the letter of credit reflect the maximum number that can be on that site.
How many units can you put back there?
Oh, quite a few, I mean,
Well, then we want quite a few dollars.
30 to 35. We can
more.
take a closer look and see.
I would say 40 to 50. But yeah, that's my guess.
Well, then you're gonna have to base that numbers then?
Yes, sir.
Sure, no problem.
We need an exact number. I agree with what Mr. Austin said. So it's gonna be at least 50 for that letter of credit. I'm hearing you right now. So we get that information and come back in 2 weeks and we'll see where we're at.
Okay, if we just...
next month. 4 weeks.
Okay, if we just, you know, don't take any more, can we just get that letter of credit for the amount that's there that would need to be?
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Well, we need numbers for both, I think.
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
Yeah, I got numbers
Well, you got that one,
for
Max.
both, but we need a guarantee that you're not gonna sneak.
Oh, I gotcha.
5. You know, I mean, you're here with your hat in your hand now.
I gotcha.
So I don't think you're gonna try to skate out the back door.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
Plus, you want a long-term relationship with the town.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
We're trying to work that out. So we need both numbers, and then through discussion at the next work session, we can come up with the final what to do, okay?
Okay, sounds good, thank you. And then I forgot that Viz did apologize, he didn't get that packet in sooner. He missed the date or something like that, so that one that you guys can look over, so.
I didn't hear that.
That packet that we handed out.
Yeah, you just passed out?
Correct, yeah, Viz apologized that he didn't get it in sooner. He missed the date or something, so I didn't know if I said that. But
Okay. Well, we'll see you next month. Get that information to staff and to Don, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Mr. President, just so the planning commission is aware, because our zoning ordinance does not allow for parking on gravel without a variance, they will be in front of the BZA next week requesting that variance.
So they're gonna be there to get a variance to park on the gravel?
We've already been through that, haven't we?
It's agreed by the BZA.
I think
They had a play back in
Well,
2021, but they withdrew it.
if they're in front of the BZA, then it'll be contingent upon whatever we do next month.
It's a temporary variance,
So-
correct?
Yeah.
Ashley?
Ashley, it's a
We
temporary,
could, if that's the reasonable condition of the BZA, absolutely. Their original approval and what their site plan was approved for was for that entire lot to be asphalted.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
However, like I said, our zoning ordinance does not allow parking on gravel, so in order for this board to grant them a waiver or amend their previous approval to use that gravel, they need that variance.
All right.
Wasn't this project approved before March 1st of 2002, when 1402 became law?
September 19th, 21st of 2021.
2021. So this project approval preceded our new zoning ordinance. And that was the guideline by which the land use approval actions were given to this project.
Okay, so we're good to go with what we're,
Well, I think it's been good to go.
yeah, okay. Okay. See you next month. Okay. Get information to the staff and
Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
you're welcome. Number 4. Goon Works LLC rezone, owner Rainbow Properties LLC, P.O. Box 2, 2010, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner Goon Works LLC, DBA Hoosier Ordinance, 7580 West 84th Place, Crown Point, Indiana. Vicinity of 13955 Moore Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting a rezone from R2 to B2.
Hi, thank you for having us today. We're hoping to get that property rezoned from R2 to B2 primarily so that way we can get an FFL approved, which is the federal firearm license. We're hoping to open a firearm store at that location. There are a few things we needed, which was to have a commercial residence or commercial property. And before we had signed the lease, we did not know that it was zoned residential due to it kind of being surrounded by other commercial properties.
Sir, can we get your name and address, please?
Yes, sorry, I'm Jacob Davis, 7580 West 84th Place, Crown Point, Indiana. And this is my partner, James.
and this
Your
building
name and
is the
address,
old
too.
dental, this is the old dental building, right?
Yes, sir. I have a business plan if you guys would like to go over it.
We need your name and address, please.
James Bryce Borowiak, 1151 Cessna Drive, Burns Harbor, Indiana.
And that's the building directly north of the Dr. Mishra's office, correct?
It should be a business anyway.
Why is that zone residential?
May I pass out these?
Sure. Okay.
Probably happened back in the beginning.
It's always zone residential?
On the first day, there was light, I don't know.
It's currently a former dentist's office.
Well, that's Dr. Castle's office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is
Will there be a shooting range there?
There will not be, no.
There's not room for a shoot.
Strictly for merchandise and services.
I understand. Is this a meets and bounds parcel, or is this a real lot? It doesn't say here.
Legal lot of record, it's lot 1 in Kish, I believe, subdivision. It's one of the older pre-platted subdivisions.
But it has an actual good legal,
It has an actual good legal description. It's been recorded in plat book 18, page 116, if I remember the legal description correctly.
okay.
I looked at it just the other day.
Thank you.
Looks like you got 1, 2, 3, 4 parking places?
Yes, sir. We do have a grass area that next spring we want to extend over, to make more parking spaces.
And he said that you're gonna pave that over?
Yes, sir. Currently, we do only have 4 parking spaces, actually 5.
Where's the grassy area, did you say?
The grassy area is,
To the east?
yeah, it's right in between the 2 buildings, a little,
Right.
that's east.
Goes to the right there, this spot.
Yeah, right over
Right
there.
there.
Okay. And he had an agreement with the people next door.
I do have an agreement with the dentist, or the
Doctor's office.
doctor's office next door, that we are able to use some of their parking spots as well, which Moody was doing previously.
Yeah.
Does that follow the property or something, or is that just a verbal agreement?
It's a verbal agreement. I can get it in writing if you want.
Oh, we'd wanted it right.
Need a cross-access easement.
And one of those spaces will be handicapped, the first spot next to the building.
You didn't do any renovations or anything to that building?
No, not yet.
It's pretty small.
Yeah,
Small building,
the
right?
storefront's going to be in the front facing the street, in the back end. I don't know if you've been in the old Moody Dental. Basically, the old waiting room will be the storefront, and all the offices and all the rooms will be gunsmithing rooms and for other gunsmithing activities.
And the main entrance is?
In the front,
Is it the side, the
yes,
south?
right there.
Okay.
What kind of security will you have?
We'll have cameras going straight to our phones.
And how will things be locked down?
We'll have vaults for all the firearms at the end of closing day. It's a smaller storefront, so we're not gonna have hundreds of guns, maybe 25, 50 easily can be put in a safe. We'll have 2 safes as well as security doors, commercial security doors on all entrances and exits. We do have a side door on the side facing the parking spaces, and that will be an only exit door. So as far as that, for the windows, we'll have security, pull down security, we'll have gates.
Hey, Ashley, with that size building, how many parking spots do they need?
I would have to calculate the size of the building and calculate the parking spots. I can do that when I get back in the office Monday and send that number out.
Do you know what the zoning is on Dr. Mish's building right now?
It is also R2.
It's also R2?
Correct. I'm thinking, in all the research that I could find, the old Moody Dental office, and Dr. Mish's office, they've been R2 since incorporation.
Yeah.
It even looks that way in our old book.
Missing out on TIF money, there's 2.
No, there's no TIF money in it.
Well, that should be a TIF district if it's got T zoning.
There's no TIF money in that,
Because they were built before the TIF district, right?
before dinosaurs.
If you know AV Grill.
Well, we're still not getting a commercial tax.
Still not, that's right.
Well, it's depreciated so much, that property's been there 60 years. The AV for that would probably pay.
It would be a drain on the tip, if
The
anything.
minimum, yeah, the minimum tax revenue, really, by its age depreciation.
But we're probably getting 3% taxes on the businesses, right?
Yeah, probably so, Bob. For that.
Are you buying this property?
We are leasing it.
You're leasing it?
Yes, sir.
You guys have any other stores?
We do not.
No?
This will be our first store.
Okay.
You have to get state approval and
Yes,
you have to have background checks and stuff.
We had to go through the ATF and apply for our federal firearm license, as well as go through the state of Indiana and apply for our handgun dealer license. And then that covers being able to sell and, purchase firearms.
Ashley, what's
You'll
the,
have to do some renovation inside there if you're going to, you're gonna put safes in there?
Yeah, they just carry in. and they bolt to the floor, but since it was a doctor's office, they had x-ray chairs where you would get work done, and the studs are already built into the ground, so.
Ashley, what's the nearest building that is zoned B, anything?
On Moore Street,
You could go south towards where Casey Top is and, a couple properties just south of that, so 145th and north, or you could go north towards 133rd and north. When I was researching our comprehensive plan, we called for spot zoning for commercial along north where there's typically commercial buildings. So them asking and requesting three zones to be two does fit along with that spot zoning that we talked about.
So is there any other B2 on the east side of Moore Street going
The
south?
bike shop.
The bicycle shop.
That's the closest B zone building?
Yeah.
I think that the Brunt Farm, has either B or B2 as well, catty corner from the town next to the Methodist Church.
Those have B2 in the front for commercial.
Which perhaps someday we could get for the town for additional parking, et cetera.
All right, my question is that they're requesting a rezone, but they're not the owners.
Well,
We do have a signed copy of the lease.
my next question to Dave is, I think I'd be okay with rezoning this to B1, and couldn't they get a variance for a B2 use? Wouldn't that be the safest way to handle this
well,
situation?
it could be that, or it could be a variance of use, period, and you control the whole use through that variance of use.
I would sooner see a variance, use variance, that just stays with this owner, these gentlemen. And if they sold, then it reverts back to the.
Shouldn't it be zoned to B1 anyway, though?
I think it should. I think all of Morris should be, business. That's what our previous, vision was.
Dave?
That's purely a policy call. We all drive Moore Street, we all know what it is. And you have a little vision, you can see a little expansion of business, but mostly not.
I still go back to my question though, shouldn't the owner be here requesting this and not them?
The owner.
If you look, sorry, Mr. Austin.
The owner should be on the application.
Which he is.
Well, I'd look at the application if it was in the package.
It is in there. Goonworks, number 4?
Yeah, it's on the.
It's on the way,
go
the other way, John, the other way. There you go. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the
I
other side.
apologize. Okay, answers my question.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, John.
Are you gonna do repairs there?
It's just minor, cleaning up walls, they rip stuff off.
How many customers do you think would be there at the same time?
5 to 10 maybe, no
Yeah.
more.
And that's like if they take 2 cars.
So 10, you need at least 10, and then both of you, 11, 12, so you're gonna need at least 12 parking spots. Do you have room to get to 12? Can they park in front of the building, like the doctor's office?
No, they park in the rear.
No, what he's got, doctor's office has parking in front.
Oh, yeah.
The doctor's office does, yeah.
Ours is whole like grassed out area.
It's totally what?
It's grassed out, like it's a yard.
Yeah, but you could pave it.
We could, yes. That is something we have not thought of yet.
Probably see backing out on that.
But they need a variance on that.
I think they need that cross-access agreement to really get the
I'd like
number.
to
I
get
think
the
they need that
12
cross-access agreement with the doctor's office, is how they're gonna get their spaces.
Yeah, and when we're there, you know, I always talk to the women who are there.
I don't think I'd be in favor of B2, but I could be in favor of B1.
B1, correct?
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think that's being cautious and careful.
Yeah, makes sense, I agree.
Is that an allowable use? Is this B2?
No, it's not,
because-
I don't think it is an allowable use in B1.
So B,
It is a B2 use.
It'd have to be B2.
But
Or
that,
B1 with use variance.
the use could be covered with a variance for the business, correct?
You can get the underlying zoning to B1, and you can, with a variance of use, massage and approval for the proposed use of these.
For these
gentlemen are
guys,
making.
yeah.
I think
We can
that's,
do, you could guys.
I think that's the right way to get.
Is there any way we could also, zone Dr. Mish's building, B1 without a request?
Without him knowing it?
What?
Be secretly?
No, legally. Tell me yes or no.
Well, it's yes, but you'd have to give notice.
Okay.
And probably want him on the front end, not the back side, you know.
10 customers at
See how-
He probably doesn't even know that.
Or they leave,
Yeah.
more, I don't think he.
But it might be of some value if he retires.
No, that would be
The building.
you'd have to have a big
Controlled by a
sale.
corporation.
Oh, big one.
A big sale going on, if you're gonna get that
No,
many.
and just based on
Called
other firearms
211
out
out
in the
there,
area,
healthcare.
I mean, just us being customers for the last years.
I went to a dedication.
Oh, yeah, 10 customers at one time per gun.
Nope.
I think like maybe Cabela's, you know, a
Yeah.
big box store, but not any firearms store.
Sure, no,
Get
I
them
agree.
more.
I agree.
Six at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, so Greg, you're advocating B1 with a special use variance
That's what I think.
for that, and, does anybody here have objections to that?
No, I agree with that.
Okay, the other, question is, that means you'd have to go before the BZA to get a special use variance. All right, then, Don said cross-access, agreement, so it means you gotta go talk to the doctor and get something signed up and
Get something in writing,
submit it,
yeah.
you know, so that it's solid, so that nobody can say, get the heck out of here.
Dave, that shouldn't be open-ended, should it? Should that have an expiration on it that renews from time to time?
The cross-access deed?
Yes.
No, I wouldn't think so. I
So
would think that
it would be
the two
open.
businesses next to each other, the doctor's office and the, gun shops, that those are commercial uses. A successor use to that would still probably be a business use and have the same necessity of cross-access.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure they have everything they need when they.
Should be a recorded document.
That's the
Carry with it.
special piece with the doctor.
Big thing was the ATF wanted ART or B2, I don't know if that matters truly, if they can deal with B1 and variance. I know that if it was residential, we were originally doing this at our house. So when it was residential, they had to send a letter out to like all of our neighbors.
I don't know what their requirement is, but if you got a variance for a B2 use, it basically is B2 for as long as you're there, but if you leave, it goes back to B1.
Okay.
You're gonna have to send a letter out anyway for public hearing.
Yeah.
You know, so all the, and Ashley will tell you who all has to get one.
Okay.
Would do that. Okay, so you
I will get
understand?
them a list in the auditor's office.
Say that again?
I'll get the list from the auditor's office.
Okay. All right, so do you know what we're expecting from you, what you have to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and, be back here in, next month for the work session. Hopefully everything's in place and we can move forward.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. Number 5, Wahlberg, concept plan, owner petitioner, Jeff Wahlberg, 7315 Lakeshore Drive, Cedar Lake.
Thank you.
Vicinity of 7315 Lakeshore Drive, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting a concept plan for a one-lot subdivision.
At Jeff Wahlberg, 7315 Lakeshore Drive, Cedar Lake. So basically, you know, my property is 6 lots right on the lake, and, you know, one building which makes up my home takes up 4 of those lots, and it's a little challenging to, you know, contend with when it comes to, you know, things like tax bills and utilities and everything, because you're dealing with each lot individually. Would just like to see if I could have those joined into just one lot instead of 6.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Me too.
And you're not changing any zoning or anything, because you've changed it, you've got a variance for residential.
Correct.
Is this about
Commercial,
land
but you got a
use
variance for
or
residential.
property taxes?
Correct.
Pardon?
Is this about land use or property taxes?
Actually, it's just to kind of simplify things. Well, the property, having the building take up 4 lots is kind of confusing. We plan on making it more residential. Right now, we have a demo center, and we're just finalizing that, so we'll be ready for the inspection soon. And then we will start the next phase of making it more residential after the demo is signed off on. But right now, it's just, like I said, it's kind of confusing with 6 lots. I would rather it was just 1 lot. It's my home. And,
Yeah, I remember when you were here before.
The reason why my view is because everybody tries to squeeze, we could have, potentially that could be sold and someone come in here and try to squeeze another house on the lake.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they won't get past permitting here if we're paying attention, number one, but the question wasn't answered. Is this about land use approvals or property tax? It's about ease of ownership, property taxes. They'll combine those key numbers, and you'll get one tax bill. And you don't need to go through a subdivision process to do that. Your home is already there, it's built, it's existent, et cetera. Then
I see what you're saying.
That's why I was trying to figure out,
Yeah,
as I'm listening.
But it's not just taxes like utilities as well, like I'm getting dinged for each and every individual lot.
Well, you combine those into key numbers, and you get a single key for 6 lots, you're gonna get one bill from this town.
I see.
And he can do that at the auditor's office, can he?
All by themselves.
Yeah, he's talking about a simpler way without having to go through all this 1 lot subdivision and stuff. You can have it combined, and that's pretty much one-stop shopping.
Okay, yeah.
So it doesn't have to be here.
So from a marketing standpoint though, if you were gonna sell it or raise it or whatever, you're probably better off with the 1 lot subdivision, right?
Well, and it can't be divided. That's how the parcel will be described. And even if they do something with it and it says lots 1 through 6, Lake Shore Addition, Town of Cedar Lake, they're fine.
You might not need to do all this.
So,
And on top of it, this is Legacy Cedar Lake.
I think it should go, and I've done that before with the property across the street.
but you think it should all be combined into 1 lot, or do we just contact the auditor and let them say that, just have for everything, it'll be 6 lots under 1 parcel?
Technically, it would be 1 lot for tax purposes,
Right.
utility bills and all that.
Yeah, my father, he's my boss, and he knows more than I do.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, he is. He is.
But
He owns the business too.
yeah, we were told that we need to come to the meeting here to get approval for that, but across the street a few years back, I combined 4 lots into one tax bill, basically, just to simplify things, and I thought this should go the same way.
And you went to county to do that?
It was done, I filled out the paperwork right here with the planning folks, and they submitted it, and then I got 1 tax bill for the 4 lots after that. That's the way it was up until I sold the property.
Okay, so then you know how to do it,
Yeah.
so you don't have to be here.
No, he's saying that's what he thought he had to do.
Yes.
Right.
Because he did it with the property on the other side of the street.
I understand that. I'm trying to get them squared away so we can get them down the road to get his taxes.
Okay, so, yeah, we just fill the paperwork out and
County auditor.
submit it here.
County auditor.
County auditor, yeah.
Okay.
County auditor.
Okay?
All right, that's the next avenue we'll pursue then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 6, Commonwealth Electric Site Plan. Owner, Hen Holdings Commonwealth Electric, 13733 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake. Petitioner, Rob Hen, Hen & Sons Construction, 13733 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake. Vicinity of 13741 Alexander Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Lot 21, Railside subdivision. Petitioner is requesting a site plan approval for a residential, commercial, electrical contractor shop and office for Lot 21 in the Railside Business Park. Hi, Jack.
Hello, Jack Hulse from BBG, representing the petitioner, who is also in the room if there's any questions that you want to direct his way. Regarding this is Lot 21 in the Railside subdivision. We approved that final plat at your previous Plan Commission meeting. The Mylars actually are sitting right over there for signature. So we're taking this, what will be recorded lot, and would like to bring a business on this lot. It's a residential/commercial electrical contractor. Typical building that you would see in a industrial park is what's going to be constructed here. We are proposing, I think you have the building plans in front of you as well as the site plans. We've submitted all the requirements for this as it relates to the site. We've got a landscape plan, photometric plan, which I believe are all in conformance with your ordinances. We've got adequate parking here. We do have, this area is all fenced, and so we have a couple of spaces. I believe there's 3 spaces, and then the ADA spaces are in the public access area, so out in front of the fence. That go right into the main entrance, so if there happened to be a vendor or some type of customer that would come to the facility, they would not have to go through the fence. There is a slide gate, and then there is employee parking in the back. Many of these, they're going to be going out to job sites and that kind of thing, as you would expect for a residential contractor. There's overhead doors. We have trash enclosure in the back. All the use areas are going to be paved. There is an area that is grass. That is within the fence, but that is not intended to be used for lay down or storage or any of that kind of thing. It's just extra space that if they wanted to seek, in the future, an expansion of the parking lot, then that area might be used, and we wouldn't have to relocate the fence. But the immediate use of the contractor is not for that area. Basically what I have as far as...
The whole PUD agreement you got in here?
What was that?
Is it the whole PUD agreement that you have in here?
The PUD agreement have been included by Ashley, just so you know that the zoning for this area is consistent with the use that we're proposing.
Very nice work.
Yeah. But I don't believe I submitted that PUD.
Well, whoever did it did a good job.
Yeah, there you go. Kudos to Ashley.
Kudos to Ashley.
Yeah, so we've got site lighting on the site that we're showing, and there's photometric plan shows we're not don't have light spill off the site, which would be consistent with your ordinance. So I think we're pretty much ready to proceed. We'd like to get this building started this year yet. So I know it's pretty aggressive considering it's fall, but that's the intent. The subdivision is finishing up. We're going to be, I think paving is scheduled for next couple of weeks, so we'll be ready to roll for access to this site. So that's what we have.
Don, you see any problems there, or?
I mean, we're still looking at it. We got it essentially 2 weeks ago or so. I mean, the lot's not even recorded yet.
I don't have a review comments yet, but it was submitted on time, so I just want to, it was not a late submittal.
I mean, could this actually be a formal application when it's not a legal lot of record yet?
Probably not. Yeah. Probably not.
I'm confused by that. The Mylars were approved, they're ready there just for signatures, they'll be recorded.
You submitted it on the 14th, which was before it even got formal approval.
I'm not seeing this as an issue. We submitted the plans, for,
A week
subdivision.
before I got final plat approval. It wasn't a lot when you submitted your application, was it?
I mean,
It's still not a lot.
and if you wanna have those tax dollars and the revenue and the businesses, in town, I don't think as far as there's no building permits being applied for, we're seeking site plan approval. We're not gonna apply for a building permit till the recording of the lot.
One of those deals where if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have an approved subdivision,
Yeah, no,
you know, so it's not like we're asking for you to approve a site plan based on a preliminary plat.
How long is it gonna take to get the legal lot of record?
Less than a week.
Less than a week?
They'll have it by Friday. Those Mylars are gonna be signed tonight, they'll go to the county tomorrow. You'll have recorded copies in your hands by Friday.
So it could be done for the next public meeting.
Yeah, this is more about doing things timely or in right sequence. I think it's more, as I heard Don, more what this is about. This is gonna be okay, timing wise.
We just gotta get through it in 10 days. So, I mean, I don't envision any issues with it, but we also didn't pick it up because it's not a legal lot of record, so, call that our procedures, but
You may get more of this as time goes on.
I understand that, but I prefer not to make it a typical thing to be getting site plans in for subdivisions that aren't approved yet. Whether or not they were going to be approved or recorded, whatever, I don't think that's the proper procedure.
I understand.
Yeah.
But it should be a legal lot of record by the time it gets approved, or it's not gonna get approved tonight.
And the same engineering
And
firm did.
typically, I don't advocate like this, but I know that thing's gonna fill up fast.
Yeah, and the engineering firm that prepared the subdivision plans has also prepared these plans. The grading work is all there. We know, the conveyance, system. We know what areas we're supposed to go where as far as stormwater, which is basically the largest concern on this site. Stormwater was designed to go into the storm sewer. Here we have runoff directly into the detention basin. You know, so from an MS4 perspective, we really don't have any concerns. I think this is about as easy and basic as it can possibly get.
I agree, Jack. I'm just saying procedurally, I think that needed to be said. I understand you guys did the engineering, and I'm not anticipating any issues. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, can I put it like this, providing he gets time to review it, he gets time to review it, and that document gets recorded?
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to have consideration this in 2 weeks, and I think we can handle that.
I don't think there's an issue with that, providing all that stuff gets done in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, if
No
I
one
didn't
can
have a
guarantee that.
photometric plan and there was a review comment that I didn't have a photometric plan, I would say, okay, yeah, that's probably not unreasonable. If I didn't have a landscape plan, I've got a complete submittal here. You know, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be able to work any of those matters out. I would say that, you know, pushing it to November, you're basically saying, don't start until May, guys. And, you know, is that really where we wanna be? That's you guys' call, not mine.
I mean, Jack's right, it's not gonna be able to pull a building permit until we get the roads in anyway. We just had a subgrade proof roll Monday. So, they got some time to build the road base up, to get the curbs in, get the first coat of asphalt done, before we even pull a building permit.
It wouldn't surprise me if you get 1 or 2 more of these before the end of the year.
And that's fine, it's gonna be recorded here in the next, I think the milers are over there. This one's just.
Yeah, there's already a letter of credit that's been delivered to the town, for $3.2 million or something like that, that assures that the subdivision's gonna be full access. There's gonna be access provided to this site, so from a fire safety perspective, the road's gonna be in. You know, I really don't think that there's, substantial concerns.
You say this is towards the front of the subdivision? Towards the front, is this towards the front?
No, it's about in the middle.
More in the middle, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so it's, I believe the dividing line is just south of this larger detention pond for the difference between the 2 zoning classifications. This is in the M1 district.
Okay, that's right, yeah.
Just north of this, of the middle pond.
Yeah.
So the proper procedure is for us to sign those Mylars tonight,
I think that's what we have to do, sir.
right?
That's why I'm sticking around after
Right?
the meeting.
And then you take them and get them recorded.
We're gonna go to the recorder's office tomorrow morning.
And then
Everything's back in order.
they have to, legal and engineering has to review it.
No, I mean, it's,
No, that's
we've already
okay.
done that, that was approved at the last plan commission meeting.
Then that's what we have to do.
Just me.
Yeah.
All right.
Tax ID numbers will be assigned, and they'll be posted on the GIS probably on Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. So building department will have access to those, there'll be new tax ID numbers that are associated with all these lots at that point.
So if everything is done, then, in 2 weeks, we can go ahead and,
Yep.
maybe approve it?
I'm hopeful, I'm hopeful, you know, we'll see what happens, you know, if Don by, you know,
Yeah.
has a 10-page letter and doesn't like what I presented, well, then maybe we'll have to talk, but.
It won't be like that.
All right, do we have any other comments?
No, sir. I don't.
All right, let's make it work.
All right, sounds good, appreciate it.
One on rail side and one on the other one, that's good. That's good.
Number 7, Blue Sky Concept Plan. Owner, Region Holdings, Inc., 425 Joliet Street, Dyer, Indiana. Petitioner, Kevin Pasco, Olthoff Homes, 8051 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Vicinity of 14517 Parish Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting a concept plan for the proposed Blue Sky development. Hi.
Hello, I am Ed Rexmore, and I'm also here with Kevin Pasco. We are representing the petitioner, Olthoff Homes. Olthoff Homes is located at 8051 Wicker Avenue, St. John, Indiana, 46373. We're excited to be here tonight. This is kind of the first time we get to present something new to the commission. We've been here a few times over the last couple of years, but not had the opportunity to present kind of a new concept plan on a fresh piece of property. This concept plan is located on what was known as the Hokanson parcel. This parcel has been going through the town council through the annexation process over the last couple of months. I believe it recently just received ratification of that ordinance, and we are in the waiting period at this point. The parcel is 80 acres. It's located at the southwest corner of 141st and Parish, and it's surrounded by many different uses. One thing I would like to just kind of point out before we get into the concept and some of the existing features of the site is that, again, we haven't been here in a while. Just wanted to again point out that for the sake of the audience and some of the planning commission members, you know, Olthoff Homes is a local builder and community developer here. We've been in business in Lake and Porter County since 1960, so over 63 years we've been building here in Lake and Porter County. We're excited to be here in Cedar Lake to be able to present new projects and continue building. It's still a family and faith-based company, so it's still owned by 3 sons of the original owner, and so we hope to continue on building here in Cedar Lake. We're always willing to work with the town staff, and we appreciate the opportunity to do so. So we appreciate the opportunity. So with that, I'm going to have Kevin Pasco step in, and he's going to kind of go over some of the existing features of the site, and then I will step back in and talk about our concept for it. We appreciate the time.
Good evening. So again, as Ed already alluded to, on the September 19th meeting, the town council approved and adopted the annexation ordinance and fiscal plan for the parcel. So by the end of October, it should be all good to go, and it will receive A, agricultural zoning when it becomes part of the town. Additionally, they also accepted an access and indemnity agreement to drill for a test well site in the northwest corner, which is reflected on the concept plan in front of you. And depending on the results that brings, there's potential for a well site or even a water tower there at some point in the future. I mean, Chris can speak to that if you have any questions on that. So currently, the parcel is completely surrounded by residential uses. There's a few PUDs to the west and the north, R2 zoning to the east and the south, and then a small amount of wetland and water course to the southeast. Now, according to the comprehensive plan update document from June of 2021, the parcel was projected to become a medium-density residential usage, similar to the surrounding neighborhoods. The update also listed several goals that the town wished to meet in the foreseeable future with development. So among these were to provide a diverse market of housing options, to expand the demographics of the town, need of a variety of residential uses to serve all stages of life, and to expand housing for elderly, young professionals, and family. So all those points obviously share a common goal in that the town seems to want to have a wide appeal to all people of all sorts of economic backgrounds and demographics as well. So as we'll detail shortly, we propose to offer products that aim to satisfy that criteria that was laid out in that document. So the last topics I'll touch on before I turn things back over to Ed are concern transportation and utility access. So on the transportation front, we'll have two main entry points, one off of 141st Avenue and one off of Parish Avenue. Those will be the two main entrance and access points, as well as connection to the sub-road in Rose Garden Estates, which is 143rd Place. For utilities, we expect to have a sanitary connection in the northwest corner and water connections near the intersection of 141st and Parish, as well as connecting to the stub utilities on 143rd Place, again from Rose Garden Estates. We're still coordinating and will remain in contact with Neil about underground connections as we continue to move through the planning process in the coming months. We're very much aware of utility concerns in the town and are definitely more than willing to work with Neil, Don, and any town staff that we have to accommodate this project accordingly. So with that, I'll turn things back over to Ed for the remainder of the presentation. Thank you.
I have a couple of 11x17s of the site plan if anybody wants one, unless you can just go.
Yeah. We can zoom in pretty good on this.
Okay. Any members of the audience who want one? So as Kevin mentioned, what we're proposing tonight is a mixed residential use project. The majority of it is all single-family detached products, so approximately 137 lots would be single-family detached, but we are also offering a portion of single-family attached product, duplex, paired cottage, kind of in the northwest corner as well, and that amounts to about 68 units. So as you can see up here on the site plan, our thought or our concept kind of deals with a few things. We're surrounded by similar uses. So to our west, in Rose Garden, is a PUD. To our east is some existing residential units that are zoned R2. And then to our south is another R2. To the north is Centennial, again PUD. We're looking for some type of transitional zoning across the project. And so what we like to do is along our frontages, so we have two frontages, 141st and Parish, we are proposing the more intense uses. So in the northwest corner, you can see that we are proposing more of that paired cottage, duplex style, single-family attached style product. Then as the project transitions to the south and west, we roll into more maintenance-free, single-family detached product. Our villa-style homes, which is a ranch slab-style home, hits a demographic, maybe a move-down type demographic. And then as we continue to progress south, we hit our standard two-story and single-story residential, single-family detached homes. So we feel like we provided a good mixture of product availability. The north half of the project would be considered all maintenance-free product, so snow care or snow removal, lawn care, things of that nature would be included in those product offerings. Those products also restrict a lot of accessory uses. So there's no pools, there's no sheds. Really the space that's provided on those units is more for passive space for the resident. It's not really for any type of active use. For active uses, we provided the open space in the middle of the community. So to try to draw the residents into the center of the community, we provided that open space in a few different spots. On the north side, you can see we have a park area proposed. So as we come in off of 141st, we have a main entrance a boulevard entrance, so we'll have a median island with plantings that you'll enter in from the north, heading south. As you hit the first intersection, you'll be able to look across the park area and see a lot of open space. Our wet bottom detention facility is planned there. We have fountains in there, as we typically do. We like to set off those facilities. It also provides water quality and stormwater prevention type things. As you would progress south into the community, you again see a lot of open spaces that come out to the main road, so that provides that kind of east-west connectivity for the residents in the different areas. They can get into the park areas, they can get into the green spaces from pretty much anywhere in the site. As we hit the southern part, again, we have another entrance that would be aligned with 143rd Place. Again, we're proposing this to be a median type entrance and exit, again, with some landscaping, median islands, and features like that. Similar to the north, as you come in, you'd have our wet bottom detention facility on the east. Again, another fountain would be in there to kind of set the community off. You enter in, you hit the first open space to the southwest. That one is planned for more of a active space, so it would be a playground structure and some other potential passive space, for example, like a seating or shelter area for somebody to sit while somebody's playing on a playground or whatnot. So we're offering that on the southwest corner. Again, we have another wet bottom detention facility down there that would also have another fountain in it to set that one off. And then we've also provided kind of green space access. There's an outfall in Rose Garden that we need to tie into and allow that water to kind of flow through our site and head from west to east. On the south side of the community, we have one more detention facility. Again, we would place a fountain in that pond as well. We like to, again, set those off and really connect the community and make it consistent throughout. You'll notice that on the south side, we have homes by others. Those are intended to be part of Ledgestone, so we would be platting those as separate lots, be part of the, be facing the current Ledgestone homes in that section. They would match the same lot sizes that are along Ledgestone and become part of that for you to fill out that roadway section. Just kind of want to highlight some of the amenities here real quick, and then we'll take any questions or comments from you today. So we provided an amenity plan to go along with our project. Again, just to kind of highlight some of the features, we're proposing walking paths throughout the community. Those are all highlighted in red. You can see them here on this plan. In the past, we've kind of used some ag line type trails. We've since gone away from that. These would be paved walking trails. We find that they last longer for the HOAs and they're a little bit better use for the residents. So they'd be paved access trails. Again, it provides that connectivity from north to south in the community. It also connects, the playground structures to anything in the north. Here's a kind of concept of what that playground would look like. We've got a picture kind of in the southeast corner, or in the bottom right corner of the exhibits, which show the playground and a shelter structure. And we would plan that for that area. Again, this is kind of this is showing in the north section. This would actually be in the southeast section. So we like to site that closer to the residential, single-family detached residential uses. And then the other common space, we would plan some type of, I would say, it's an active feature, but it's more geared towards, again, a certain demographic. We've since started to put some putting greens and chipping greens into some of our communities. We've done this out in Valparaiso. It was a really popular feature for people that are, retirees and active golfers. They like to come out here and chip and putt overlooking the pond. So it's actually been a very successful amenity. So we're planning on one of those in our community, and then obviously we put a shelter structure in there too to give some kind of gathering space. So if someone wants to take a rest from 9 or 18 strokes, they can take the rest in the shelter. So. And then the next couple of pages, we detailed out some of our entrance features. You can get and see the boulevard entrance with the median island, the landscaping. We have berming on our entrances. We're trying to set ourselves back from 141st and Parish intersections. We're trying to pull ourselves away so we'd have copious amounts of green space along our frontages. We plan with berms, heavy landscaping buffer to kind of pull ourselves and separate us from the road. This is, again, the south entrance. Again, landscape median island. We have buffers along both sides. We have, again, buffer continuous along Parish to, again, provide some nice landscaping features on Parish and on 141st. And then here's just a couple of details on that berm and buffer. So that's kind of the concept we ended up coming up with. We feel it's a good use. It fits in well with the surrounding area. It provides some nice transitional zoning from the PUD of Rose Gardens and Centennial down to Ledgestone and the existing residential uses. And one other point I would make is I think part of the ordinance and some of the things that we've heard in the past is on park space and open space. Obviously, what we're proposing here today is that these open spaces would be HOA maintained in community areas. However, we are also open to other discussions. If the town foresees something that they would want in this area, we'd be willing to discuss that with them as well. And then finally, just one final point I think I will point out here is that we would be improving, obviously your ordinance required anyway, but we would be improving 141st and Parish Avenues. We'd be doing those hash street improvements, curb gutter, sidewalk. That would provide a lot of connectivity from Ledgestone all the way north. At this point, they could probably almost get into the northern corridor there next to Stratton Van Tills and some of the commercial areas by foot at this point. So that's what we're proposing. Again, the total project would be 206 units. The density is around 2.5 units per acre. It's a mixture of different product types, and we'd be happy to take any questions, comments, concerns at this time.
Mine is, I gave the same thing to Schilling, and I'm gonna say the same to you. I see 60-foot lots, and I told Schilling they had to be 70. Schilling took them back and brought 70 back to us. So I'd like to see those villas at 70 foot in order for me to buy into this.
Okay.
Other than that, that's my main concern.
There will be 3 major subdivisions going on to 141st plus an industrial park. There's going to be a lot of traffic get on 41, that road.
That's one of my questions I was gonna ask Don, because traffic has become such an issue over there. In fact, there's additions proposed for stop signs and things of that nature. And I think we're to a point here, and I've been pretty vocal about it, I don't wanna see any more of these paired villas and paired cottages. I don't know why that can't be a single-family development. The entirety of it is zoned ag. It's gonna have to be rezoned. I'd like to see the 70 by 135 foot lot minimum, all single-family. There's things about it I like, but there definitely needs, am I out of school on a traffic study we need to have over there? I mean, because that area's gonna need more than just curb and sidewalk on Parish and 141st, because it's already a nightmare.
I am a crossing guard on Parish Avenue, and I can tell you, traffic is bad.
Understood. And I believe I think we'd be required to have a traffic study done as part of our submittals.
Remind me of the water supply on the west side, because I don't remember. Do we know the calculations for what we have for water on the west side currently? And you're proposing a well on this side as well?
We have a well site reserve, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, in the northwest corner.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that. That's Neil's kind of
I don't have those numbers.
realm.
I have one other thing. Would it be better to have single families facing Parish and 141st and the paired villas in the back? Just switch places with them? So when you're going down Parish or 141st, you have the better looking homes, not bigger homes, not better looking, but bigger homes.
And I'm in agreement with Greg, if we can get single-family homes, as I stated in the beginning of the meeting, I'd rather see that, but we don't have that in place with our ordinance, but this is a concept that we're planning for.
Bob, we're gonna have to get to the point where we're starting we're gonna have to start thinking about public safety first, and density and traffic and all the things. I mean, it's so dense over there already. I mean, I think we should be really responsible with what happens going forward. I'm not saying that has to be forever, but in the near future, till we have the infrastructure in place for the water and sewer and all the stuff that we need, why are we gonna keep cramming stuff in? I guess that's my concern.
How many gallons can we send down the road?
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Okay,
Would the petitioner be willing to give us from the center of Parish West and also the center of 144st South additional land so that in the future it can be expanded to a 3-lane road versus strictly a 2 with turn lanes? You know, essentially a suicide lane, kind of like we have on 133rd, because it's inevitable that we will need to plan for the west side of the tracks and widening that someday, and that eventually would probably logically get annexed into the community as well. So if he has so much frontage across both of those roads, it would be nice to have that negotiated on behalf of the town with these guys. And I can't really comment on the plans because I haven't seen them, but if the petitioner be willing to do that, I would like to see that.
I'll give you a little bit of, I had to go to the Berdan Funeral Home for a wake tonight, and when I got to the intersection of, this isn't in their area, but Parish and 133rd, I counted the cars that were backed up trying to head east. There were 50 vehicles backed all the way down the road. So anybody trying to get out of the post office or any of those business, they had to wait a long while. And then when I got to the stoplight, I had to wait through 30 vehicles that were parked at the stoplight trying to get onto 41. So we got a problem over there, and we've got a turn lane.
Hey, Bob, I heard that there must have been something wrong on 41 or something because they backed up apparently all the way north on Parish, all the way down to 29. So I think a lot of people diverted off of US 41 or 231 is what probably occurred from what I've told.
Well, in the morning and in the afternoon, it's back from 137 down south past the entrance to Beacon Point. The traffic is backed up during school rush hour and stuff like that.
And that's the way it is right now.
That was 3 o'clock when I saw that today.
Ed, are you gonna come for straight zoning or just PUD?
We were proposing a PUD. Okay. Because of the mixed residential uses.
I'd like to see you guys be the first one in our new plan for just nothing but R1.
Single family.
where it says homes by other, is that part of this concept, or is that gonna be separate?
That's a great question. I would envision, I mean, it could be part of this PUD, and then it could be part of the agreement that is written that those become a separate plat.
Well,
But they're not going to be the same size as anything else that's in here, I guess. Is that what you're asking?
no, I wanna see dimensions.
Okay, we can add that.
I wanna know what the lot's gonna be. You know, you said they're gonna be the same as the lots across the street, so now I gotta go measure every lot across the street.
Yeah, we can get you lot sizes.
No, I wanna see dimensions, number one, okay?
Across the street, they vary anywhere from 55 to 70 feet.
Yeah.
I like the putting green, I like the parks, I like the walking path, I like the HOA maintenance, I like all of those concepts. I think the density it's causing me to go insane, and it's causing a lot of folks in town issues, and we've got to get to a better point where we're planning for traffic, and we've got to get up to a better point where we're planning for everything.
And as I've indicated to previous developers coming in, Cedar Lake, Winfield, and St. John are three of the fastest growing communities in the state of Indiana. Then when I heard what Winfield's doing, we can be a little more selective on what we do. We don't have to just let anything come in here anymore. We are a town of destination.
Yeah, you know what?
Yes.
Very good. Never heard you say that before.
No, I haven't.
Ledgestone is nice. It's nice, it's a good looking place. I'd like to see your place just add on with that.
Sure.
What are your comments on all that?
We're willing to work with the town, that's always the position we've been in, so we will take these comments back and, let us rethink a couple of things here, as far as traffic and safety goes,
I think one of the biggest factors here is traffic.
Sure.
Because of like, I don't know, whoever said we got Rose Garden there, we got a business park coming in, we got the school down there, we had already discussed about the business park and the school being there in Rose Garden, and there's gonna be a storage unit, across the street from next to the school. You know? And, so all that's been discussed already. So we do really have to take a strong look at traffic, because there's two ways out of here. Parish North, Parish South.
Yes.
And to get to a major street, you gotta go east, and, the street east is 141st, or all the way down to 51st there. So, that does create a problem. I do like larger lots. And I've been saying that for the past year or so. And, I agree with what Bob said. I also did talk to Nick Recupero today, about his comments last night, and I like the idea of going like, this could be all R2, 10,000 square feet, with all your retention ponds and what have you. As far as the HOA taking care of all the open spaces in the parks, that's fine, we would demand that. But we would also ask that all the open spaces and parks be turned over to the town. If the town would own them, but the HOA maintains them.
Okay.
And the purpose for that is, we don't want HOA going belly up and then selling off all the land for homes so they got some money or something. We want just
Park winding up on the tax
right.
sale, so-
We want it to be the way it's designed to be. And so we would want town own that land and the HOA maintain it.
Can I ask you a question about the paired cottages?
Yep.
If a neighbor wants aluminum siding and the other one wants vinyl siding, does HOA come in and settle that, or what?
Yeah, so our HOAs are set up so there are architectural committees, review committees. They have to meet the standards, and, we have more restrictive standards than what the town would have. So those standards would be written in such a way that they're only allowed to do a certain type of material on their home. Colors would have to be consistent, things like that. So they can't just go do whatever they wish. Our covenants are also set up, just to speak to your point about ownership and them being able to sell off common lots. They're also pretty restrictive on the fact that it would take significant amount of effort for the HOA to just go and condemn their common lots and get rid of them. But I do understand your comment. There is protections in the covenants and restrictions for that scenario. But if the town wants to take over ownership of these common lots, that's something we can definitely look into. It's different than what we've done in the past, but we're not opposed to that.
We have asked other developers to do that.
Sure.
They have, but, everything is a talking point.
Yep.
So, we're not saying, it's gotta be, but everything's a talking point, so you give a little, you take a little.
Mm-hmm.
We want this
absolutely.
to be a nice development for the town, and for the residents that are gonna live there, and the rest of the residents here. So, the best things we can work out of this is what we wanna do.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you've heard us, from what I'm observing up here, we want single family.
Sure. Heard that. Like I said, we're here tonight at the concept review. We're here to take comments and try to figure out what we can do to make modifications and bring it back and see if that meets the standard that the commission would like to see. So we're very appreciative of this process.
Any other comments?
Not right now, John.
I would just say this, Mr. Chairman, that these folks, out on 41, out there behind the junk farm, when they developed that, back 2-3 years ago, we said the same thing, we don't want, anything but single family, and they abided by it, and they built, a very successful, subdivision. That being said, you know, you can make R1 homes and cram them in and compact them, so having some larger R1 mixed in with, maybe other products may be something that is still doable in keeping the density at medium or what have you, so that's just my 2 cents.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else? No?
No, we're good. We appreciate the time. We'll be back at another subsequent study session to show you a modified plan. Okay.
Sharpen your pencil, we'll see you later.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Update items. Number 1, building regulations and fee amendments.
Comments back.
Okay, number 2, Beacon Point East.
It's my understanding they paid final coat today, just got a couple of items on their punch list, but that'll likely rotate into maintenance prior to its expiration.
Okay. Number 3, Rose Garden Estates, Unit 2, performance letter of credit expires December 9th, 2023.
I can just take 1, 2, and 3. We've completed an entirely new, complete inspection of the entire subdivision. That punch list should go out sometime next week. It's lengthy. We also have as-built for units 2 and 3 now. Rose Garden has been, or Lennar has been, completing repairs out there over the last couple of weeks. So we're moving forward better than before, but we are making progress.
Okay, sounds good. Finally, huh?
Finally.
Number 4, Ledgestone, maintenance letter of credit expires December 7th, 2023.
We sent out our punch list for that expiration on Friday of last week. They are addressing the comments as we speak. I believe they also have all Public Works comments, so that should be allowed to expire prior to December 7th.
Okay, summer winds, do you want to take those together or separately?
Taken together, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. We haven't heard anything from the developer. I think Ashley was going to try to reach out to them, but I don't know if she did or not.
Did you, Ashley?
I'm gonna check back in my emails, I thought I sent an email off, but I'm not 100% certain off the top of my head right now.
Okay, those expire December 20th and 23rd.
Yep.
Number 7, Beacon Point East, Unit 2, performance letter of credit expires January 30th, 2024.
Showing provided an update on 7 and 8 this morning. They said McFarland's still handling some of the concrete punch list items. So that's just ongoing for now. We'll see if they can get some of that stuff done this calendar year, have to extend.
Okay, Beacon Point Unit 1A, maintenance letter of credit expires January 30th, 2024.
This is one that is, coming out of maintenance. I don't think we've started on this. We normally get a tip-off for like 3 or 4 months in advance, but we'll soon do a punch list for both of those before they expire at the end of January.
Okay. David, do I have to read those table items?
No.
We can't talk about them until it's removed from the table.
No, can't talk about it. I just don't know if I had to read them. Public comment, any public comment? Any comment, come up? I knew you had something.
Well, Barb Orzi, 10290 West, 138 Place, and I'll try not to, because I had way more things to say, and I'm just going to try to pare it down. It has to do with the first thing that you talked about, Centennial, or they talked about Centennial, where they want to put the townhomes. And that's next to the railroad tracks. that, you know, where that runs over there. So, and I'm just asking for clarification that they said they were gonna put a fence behind the town, or between the townhomes and the railroad tracks, is that correct?
Yes.
I would ask, and, you know, never hurts to ask, because that's down the street from where I live. And we have between where they want to build, and on the street running east of there. So, that's where I live, and south of my house, or north of my house, I'm sorry, is the retention pond that I'm assuming they're gonna run stuff to from the new development to go into the wastewater. Currently, there is a line of vegetation that creates a nice border around this wetland that we have, and my guess, since vegetation and trees are a four-letter word to developers, they're probably gonna chop all of that down. So, I would like it very much if they could also put a fence between the east side of the townhomes and the wetland area. So I don't have to look at not only townhomes to my west, but going out my front yard, I have townhomes that they built that they really should have put a fence up to separate the backloaded townhomes from the rest of the residences on my street, because it looks really ugly, and it's additional to a piece of bare land that I guess their salespeople promised that they would make nice, meaning real grass. It's crappy grass, there's a little gravel trail through it and nothing else. And what ends up happening is the kids in the neighborhood use it to ride their motorized dirt bikes back and forth and back and forth. And that's just a lovely thing to listen to when you're trying to eat supper. But, you know, if you say anything, they tell you to mind your own business. So make sure they put the fences up, at least where they said they would. I'd appreciate it. I won't say anything else about the new plans that they have, except one question, and it has to do with the residential code. And I read it a while back because they always put in these little parks, and according to the code, and I'm just going to paraphrase, that the parks are supposed to be more interior so that more people within the subdivision can access them readily instead of being right at the entrance coming in. I don't know why they can't put them more in the interior. Well, I do know, but they don't do it. And ordinance says it's supposed to be more centrally located. So that's as far as that goes. And the second thing, and I know I'm in the minority here, but I don't like the idea of a gun shop in an area that it just doesn't fit, and if there's a potential for there to be a lot more residential growth there, whether that happens or not, I don't care for it. Thank you for listening.
Okay, Mark. Any other public comments?
Good evening. Terry Broders, 14513 Morris. I want to discuss a couple of items tonight on the agenda. Number 3. Cedar Lake storage. I've been in a situation on the beginning side of that story. I actually came in and asked for permission before I did the work and violated the PUD that I agreed to. I was told no in every situation. Both Chris and Ashley and I had multiple meetings, and everything I asked for, I was told no. Don't even come back without paying for engineer drawings, no concept plan. I wanted to do my own drawing, and I was kind of just pushed out the door. Now, that was what I was doing when I was asking for permission. Now, I'm going to go back into, before I hit on number 3, I want to talk about the big house on Morris, the house that you guys had argued, or not argued, but discussed about how the trusses came in wrong when they were, in fact, Mr. President, you straightened them out when he said the trusses were ordered when the blueprints were submitted. But nobody ever questioned the fact that the very first thing they did on that particular building was they built a knee wall 4 feet above the concrete, which was supposed to receive the rafters direct on top of a ledger board.
That's what messed that whole thing up.
But here's the problem though, Greg. In fact, they said it right here at this podium, that they were told when somebody brought it to the attention of the town, that they were told, well, you can keep building, but eventually you're gonna have to get approved. Well, I mean, does somebody keep going from that point all the way up if he didn't know he was gonna get approved? It kind of goes back to the same scenario. Maybe asking for permission here is the wrong step first, because boy, it's really screwed my life up for the last year and a half, maybe a little longer. These gentlemen come in, first off, to ask for an amendment to a PUD that they've already violated. On top of that, they literally told you they have 20 items parked there, and I'm guessing at about $200 a pop, right? That's $4,000 a month. So in all reality, if you give them till next year, October, that $4,000 a month that may go up a little bit more, they're gonna actually buy that pavement for them. They're in violation, and there's been a whole lot of ideas of how to get around this situation for it to help them. And it's kind of upsetting because I never got that kind of help. And I'm wondering if I would've came in and asked for the same thing, I'm thinking here's what the story would have been. Sure, the PUD was applied for in '21, and that was before the changes. But your amendment is taking place in '23, and that should go under the new ordinance. And in fact, by first of all, asking for permission to keep the things there and go all the way till next year on the 24th of October and extend that and give him to that time to pay, think of how much money he's gonna make between now and then. Why wasn't one of the ideas discussed tonight, in fact, by our legal team to help pay for all the things we're running behind on? If he wants to park the things there, why don't you split the cost? You take 100, we'll take 100, we'll take $2,000 a month, you take $2,000 a month, that almost covers somebody's salary. There's ideas out there to fix these problems, but it seems like people only help out and give ideas to people who are in the know, I guess. I apologize. I'm getting a little emotional here because I'm very upset about that. Because a lot of the things that he got away with tonight, and he's gonna be probably granted, and was given the ideas by our own in-house departments, I would have never been given that time of day. Never once. In fact, I've heard people on this board say you would never get away with that. If I did the same thing, I would never get away with that. I got neighbors who blocked my road twice. I brought it to the attention of this board and never got any help. Never got any help. In fact, they helped him block it. I could go ahead and explain that job to you. How Parrish Avenue ended up on blocking my road, and big slabs bigger than this podium delivered by these trucks owned by this town, and then taken away by this town on your call, and you told me I had to wait. You told me you'll get it done when you want to get it done. Again, I apologize. I just feel that if we're going to have rules, they should be for everybody. Because it doesn't work in a society to just pick and choose who the rules work for. And I've seen it for a year and a half. You guys all know I haven't missed a meeting, and I've watched everybody pick and choose, and I like each and every one of you. But I've seen picking and choosing going on for a year and a half, and it always comes out to the same thing. They're getting away with the things I couldn't even talk to people about. So yeah, I'm taking it personal now. I'm going to move on from number 3. There was the gun shop. There was one thing that nobody discussed on the cross-access agreement. What if one building sells? That cross-access agreement, how's that going to hold up? If one building sells, the new owner would have to agree to that, so you got to get that in writing, or try to figure that out before you make this agreement, right? I don't even know, I don't know, a gun shop that close to the residence with no other businesses around, that's for public hearing, right, at that point? Now on this last one, the sky blue. Again, 2/3 multiple units, 2/3 non-single family. The last, 5 PUDs, the last 5 subdivisions that came in here were less than 1/3 single family in each and every one of them. Less than 1/3. I mean, I hear ideas about, he's talking about, we're gonna give you half the road, or somebody, I think it was John Foreman said, well, maybe you can give us half the road. Well, wouldn't he have to do that if he gets granted the PUD? I mean, he'd have to give that access to right-of-way on both Parish and 141st Street. You certainly wouldn't let him keep ownership of half the road once he gets the PUD granted. I don't know, was that discussed prior to the meeting? I don't know. It's getting, I think it's time I'm gonna step off the podium tonight. I thank you for your time, Mr. President. You can understand my personal anger. Thank you.
Mr. President, may I clarify something for the record, please?
Yes.
Cedar Lake Storage was never given permission to park on there. In fact, when they came for their final for occupancy, they were told that they were in violation of their approval. They requested alteration, and they were told that was not something that could be granted by town staff. It had to be presented to the plan commission, and it had to be approved by them. At no point in time did town staff or anybody in the building department give them the A-OK to park on that gravel. It was told to them that they needed to clear it out. They said they would like to continue, and they were told that they needed to come and request a proper approval from the plan commission.
If I may reply to, Ashley, I'm sorry, Ashley, and you're 100% right, but I don't think I said that the town, planning department gave them approval. I never said that, and I didn't, and based on everything I've ever done with you, Ashley, I don't think you would have. I'm in agreement with you, Ashley. I'm in a disagreement with Dave, because I believe Dave, if Dave really wanted to stand the ground for the town, he would have said, the amendment goes under the new ordinance, period. No parking on gravel without a variance. So now we could go back to the variance situation. Again, rules are for everybody. I just hope we can all start following them soon. Thank you.
We have any other public comment? Any other public comment? Seeing none, we're adjourned.